The Saga of Harald Fairhair, the first king of Norway. Prologue. The boy who would be king. In the rugged lands of Scandinavia, where fjords cut through towering mountains, and the sea whispered tales of glory, a boy was born to greatness. His name was Harald, son of Halfdan the Black, a petty king of Vestfold. From his earliest days, Harald was told of his destiny, a destiny written in the stars and echoed in the winds that swept across the frozen north. But destiny is not given, it is taken, and Harald would take it with both hands. Chapter 1. The Oath of the Unkempt Hair. When Harald was but a young man, his father died, leaving him a small kingdom and a burning ambition. One day, as the skald sang of love and war, a maiden named Gyda, a princess of a rival kingdom, scorned Harald's proposal of marriage. She declared she would not wed a man who ruled over nothing but a few scattered valleys. "I will not marry a petty king," she said. "Unite all of Norway, and then I will be your bride." Her words struck Harald like a thunderbolt. That night, under the pale light of the moon, he made a solemn vow. He would not cut or comb his hair until he had united all of Norway under his rule. His wild, unkempt hair became a symbol of his determination, and his people began to call him Harald Tanglehair. Chapter 2. The Rise of a Warrior. Harald's journey began with fire and steel. He gathered warriors from across Vestfold, men loyal to his father's memory and eager for glory. With his trusted jarls by his side, Harald set out to conquer the fractured lands of Norway. He fought battle after battle, his hair growing wilder with each victory. In the east, he subdued the rebellious chieftains of Uppland. In the west, he clashed with the powerful lords of Rogaland. His name spread like wildfire, and soon even the most stubborn kings began to fear the young warrior with the tangled mane. But Harald was not just a conqueror, he was a strategist. He forged alliances through marriage, binding rival families to his cause. He rewarded loyalty with land and gold, and he crushed deceit with an iron fist. Chapter 3. The Battle of Hafrsfjord. The greatest test of Harald's ambition came at Hafrsfjord, a narrow fjord where the fate of Norway would be decided. The petty kings of the west, led by Eirik of Hordaland and Sulk of Rogaland, had formed a coalition to stop Harald's relentless advance. Their fleets gathered in the fjord, their sails like a forest on the water. Harald's fleet, though outnumbered, was filled with hardened warriors who believed in his vision of a united Norway. As the two forces clashed, the sea turned red with blood. Harald fought at the front, his wild hair streaming behind him like a banner. His sword, Dragvandal, sang as it struck down his enemies. The battle raged for hours, but in the end Harald emerged victorious. The coalition was shattered, and the path to unification was clear. It is said that after the battle Harald finally cut his hair, earning the name Fairhair, a symbol of his triumph and the birth of a new kingdom. Chapter 4. The King of Norway. With Norway united under his rule, Harald Fairhair became the first true king of Norway. He established his seat of power at Avaldsnes, where he built a great hall and ruled with wisdom and strength. He appointed loyal jarls to govern the regions, ensuring that his kingdom remained strong and united. But Harald's reign was not without challenges. Many chieftains, unwilling to bow to a single king, fled to distant lands, some to Iceland, others to the Orkneys and beyond. These exiles carried with them tales of Harald's tyranny, but also of his greatness. Harald's personal life was as tumultuous as his rise to power. He took many wives and concubines, fathering countless children. Among them were Eric Bloodaxe, a fierce warrior who would one day wear the crown, and Hakon the Good, raised in the court of England's King Athelstan, who would bring Christianity to Norway. Chapter 5. The Twilight of a King. As the years passed, Harald's hair turned gray, but his spirit remained unbroken. He ruled Norway for over 50 years, guiding his people through times of peace and war. Yet, even in his twilight years, the fires of ambition burned within him. When Harald finally passed from this world, he was buried in a great mound at Hafrsfjord, his sword by his side, and his legacy etched into the land he had united. His descendants would carry his name and his bloodline, shaping the destiny of Norway for generations to come. Epilogue: The Legacy of Fairhair. Harald Fairhair's story is more than the tale of a king. It is the story of a nation's birth. His unification of Norway laid the foundation for a kingdom that would endure for centuries. Though the sagas may blur the line between history and legend, one truth remains. Harald Fairhair was a man of vision, a warrior of unmatched determination, and the father of a nation. And so the skalds still sing of Harald Fairhair, the boy who became a king, the man who united a land, and the legend who will never be forgotten. Thank you for listening to this story about Harald. I really enjoy making this content and will continue to make more stories like this. If you find it interesting, please leave a like and hit the sub button below. Hope to see you in the next episode.